welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB. I got my co-host, producer extraordinaire, grill master, master of the hats and the beanies,
Yeah,
certified accountant, background in business.
I am not a CPA. Well, let's get that off your chest.
Background in business. He'll do your taxes for you. Jody!
I
What's up,
can't
bro?
even do my own taxes, but that was what I was striving for when I went into school. I was like, I'll be an accountant. You need one no matter what you do. You got to pay taxes every year. And then, a couple of years of those classes, I was like, let's go with finance. It's same, but different.
same, but different. That's, I think that's a lot of NFL teams do that at the running back position right now.
Oh,
same, but different. That's
yeah.
why they had a meeting.
Go
They had
younger.
a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was hilarious.
We're going to today's plan. We're going to throw it around the league. Training camp open this week. Everyone's excited. Most of the teams are back. We've got a lot of practices going on. We got the Jets getting ready for the Hall of Fame game, starting Hard Knocks, getting all that ready to roll. But we got a lot of news around the league that we got to cover. Instant reactions. A lot of things happened today that we'll get through. A lot of things have happened in the last couple of days. And then once we get through all of our more important news, we're going to talk Madden ratings because it's July 25th.
And they just released them.
And why not? Let's talk it. So first and foremost, Justin Herbert, the man just got breaded. 5 years, $262.5 million extension.
It was like 133 guaranteed or something.
133 guaranteed, I believe, is the correct number. I mean, these quarterback extensions just keep going up and up and up. I just read the other day that Burrow and Herbert were kind of like having a little bit of a standoff, staring at like who's going to sign their extendo first, because then the next person could just sign for more. Because that's just how it goes. It's just the next contract tops the one before it. And so I guess Burrow's, won, if you will, because we're going to probably see the Burrow extension happen within the next week, I would guess, and it's going to be for a little bit more.
My guy's more accomplished, I would say, than Herbert, too. I think it's well-deserved if he gets more.
I saw something the other day with Herbert, and I
think I know what you're talking about.
Where he scored the most points,
and his
at
team
the start
allowed
of career,
the most.
But his team has allowed the most to start a career. So
I did see that.
In fairness to him, we'll give him that. But I mean, instant reaction, Herbert getting all this money. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's good to pay the guy. Granted, the Chargers are just saying they're committed to the man. They like him at that spot. Another 5 years extendo. So, but I will say, we just got to see him do something. It could be at the end of this. It could be another Phil Rivers that has all these accolades, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, I would say his career, an apt comparison to the start of his career and the start of another quarterback's career who turned out to be pretty good, Peyton Manning.
Ooh.
Peyton Manning had a very similar start, very productive, didn't win any playoff games, wasn't getting it done with his team in those first, 4 or 5 years. A lot of people were like, is Peyton Manning really that good? And then, we saw what happened in the middle of his career when he finally started beating Brady in the playoffs, and they won the Super Bowl, got to another Super Bowl. And then, of course, we know what he did with the Broncos in the latter part of his career. So I'm certainly not ready to be, I think there's a lot of randomly super hot takes on Herbert. Like, there are some people who believe he's the best quarterback in the league, and I don't. I think he's somewhere between, on the high end, maybe he's the 4th best guy. On the low end, maybe the 8th or 9th best guy.
Yeah,
he's somewhere in there. Like, he's right
top
hovering.
10?
He's at the very least top 10, and he's hovering around the top 5 if he's not in it.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And but then I see people on the other end that are like, "Oh, Herbert is terrible. He's a what do they call him? Like the like fake computer quarterback or something like that.
Oh,
Like
the media guy.
yeah, I don't know why people are like, I don't get that either. Like he clearly is very good. Like if you just watch a Charger game, that's all it takes. Just watch the game.
True.
He's a good player.
He gets it done.
He throws the ball really well. He's mobile. Like he's everything you want in the modern quarterback. He has quick release. He can sling that thing. I mean, 70 yards in the air. So yeah, Herbert. I have no problem with the Chargers giving him this extension. I think he's going to be their franchise quarterback for at least through the length of this extension, if not 5 more years plus after. I mean, we're talking the next 10 to 15 years if his longevity is what we think it's going to be.
If he could stay healthy, that's for sure.
And I would anticipate the Chargers are going to have at some level of success. They're going to win some playoff games. He's not just going to go the rest of his career without winning in the playoffs like people keep talking about. It's going to happen. You know, if not this year, I would anticipate.
I mean, he's got at least 5 more to do it.
Yeah. So I think this is a smart move for the Chargers. Get it done before Burrow gets his done.
Yeah.
Right. And let them top it and keep it moving. I mean, the annual money is not the way these quarterback contracts keeps going. Dude, you look at quarterback contracts signed a couple years ago, like Mahomes' 10-year extension.
Oh, bro.
The annual money on that,
like pennies or something now compared to these
stealing.
guys.
Yeah. The Chiefs are stealing what they're paying him compared to what not. So like 2 years from now, this Herbert extension is going to look like, oh yeah, it's just basically average money. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
So I think that's just how it goes. And at that position right now, you paying a premium. Herbert's a premium player. So no problems on that. The next thing that we did see today, the big news, these are all things that happened today. Saquon Barkley, not going to play on the franchise tag. They were able to agree to a 1-year, $11 million deal with the $2 million signing bonus.
That's
huge for Saquon. My initial thought on this, one, he's getting more money than he would have got on the franchise tag. It's not a lot more, but but it's more. 2, the Giants, the smartest thing they could have done. Like now that they've done this, they're guaranteeing they have Saquon this year.
Yeah.
If they had gone in this season without Saquon, I think it would have been pretty disastrous for their offense.
Not fun for them. Yeah.
And if you're looking at it from the Giants' perspective, another thing is that like they didn't give him a long-term deal, but they're going to get him to play for him this year. So like that's a big deal for them too. You know, that you're going to get Saquon this year, but they didn't have to commit to him long-term, you know, where we've seen in the past that has burned some teams, namely the Rams, the Cowboys, you know, committing long-term money to a running back and big money at that, and then having to like cut that guy before he's through the length of that contract. So Cowboys and the Rams, I mean, they both had to do it. So I think it's a win for the Giants, to be honest. Now, I guess it's a win for Saquon. He doesn't have to play on the franchise tag, and he's getting a little bit more money, but he did not get the long-term deal he wanted. He does get to hit free agency next year, assuming we're not in the exact same situation with the Giants franchising him again. But I guess it's a win-win. I mean, that's how I would look at it. I don't know, Joe. What do you think?
I mean, it's good he got bread, right? Obviously, like you said, it's only, I think it was 10.3 with the tag, so he got 700 mil or 700K more. That'd be wild.
700 mil would be wild.
That's Mbappe numbers, bro. No, but I mean, he did get a little bit more bread on top with the signing bonus, so that's good. You know, it gives him a little bit more oomph to back that 11 mil for the year. I do think, hopefully, the guy gets to go explore options otherwise, because he's the baller, and right now he's got it. If not him, there's only like so many more that you could say could go do that. I'd say probably like Nick Chubb would be another one that would have to branch out to do something similar. And Christian McCaffrey maybe, but he's a different type of back compared to those two. So it's thin over there. They gotta, and I know they're hurting for themselves now, but it's the only way to flip things going forward for the running backs coming up behind them.
I mean, I think, you know, I don't know that much is going to change for running backs. I mean, we had this conversation the last time we were on the pod.
True.
it's a small victory, I guess, that Saquon got this, but at the end of the day, I don't know that it moves the needle much towards their overall long-term goal. I mean, maybe the solution is that running backs are just not going to get long-term security, and we're going to see a lot more of these.
Just
Hey,
1
here's
years here and there.
1 year, bigger
Yeah.
money. We'll pay you 15 mil, but it's 1 year, or we'll
Yeah.
pay you, 12 mil, but it's 1 year. We're not going to give you 3 years, 36, but we'll give you one for 12, I
Yeah.
mean, and go back to back to back on that, as opposed to, and every year running backs are going to have to prove it. Now, is that fair to them? Probably not, compared to
No.
other positions getting long-term security, but that may be the way they may have to go, kind of the Kirk Cousins method of
Yeah. Yeah.
betting on yourself year to year, 1-year contracts to get the money that they're looking for. I mean, that may be what we see more. I mean, maybe Saquon just set the precedent that that's what you're
Yeah.
going to have to start doing as a running back. I don't know.
Another positive, I guess, of that would be you get to pick where you go at that point, right? If you want to chase ring, you could bounce somewhere for a little bit less money for that possible. I mean, it's a lot different compared to like the NBA where you're trying to chase rings.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
if that's what you got to do, and if that's a good incentive, because you get those extra games down the road too, a little more bread on top. So who knows?
In other news, we go to the next guy who got paid. We got one more guy who, I mean, apparently today was payday in the NFL. We got one more guy who got paid. Trayvon Diggs landed a massive contract extension, 5 years, $96 million
Hmm.
with the Cowboys. Locks him down for about $19 million a year moving forward. I am, of the 3 deals that happened today, this is the one I'm probably the least a fan of.
Why is that?
We've done some film study on Diggs
Yeah.
before, right? We've talked about Diggs. Diggs is there are, to me, there are 2 kinds of corners in the NFL. And maybe you could go with 3. And the third being like a true zone cover corner, like a true zone corner
Okay.
who's crafty. You can put him in different zone coverages and he'll be able to bait quarterbacks into throws, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the third kind. The first kind is, put this guy on your best player, shut him down.
And it'll be a ball game. Yeah.
Like you're don't even throw that guy's way. Just he's just gonna take a guy
So
out.
Revis Island, if you will, for an
Revis
example.
Island, Stephon Gilmore, guys like that. The second kind is the gamble corner, the corner that's like feast or famine. This guy is gonna jump every route. He's uber aggressive. Now he's gonna make a million plays. We're talking. This is where Diggs falls. This is where
Yeah.
Asante Samuel kind of fell. Guys like Patrick Peterson at one time in his career was kind of this guy. It's just
Okay.
that the guy, they're big names and they get the money because they're going to make plays. I mean, you're going to get pick 6 picks. Those numbers are going to be high every year. But then
Uh-huh.
on the flip side, if you look at their coverage number, they're going to give up a lot of yards
Yeah. That's for sure.
because they play so aggressive, and that's just
They
their
go to
play
jump the
style.
route, and then the dude ends up
You double
running
move
up
them,
the yeah,
or
exactly.
they're
Open
always
field.
peeking back trying to make this play, and so then that's when they kind of lose their guy and then they get beat vertical, whatever it may be. And so those guys to me are, I think everyone's a little different. People's have their tastes and preferences. Personally, as a coach, I'd love to coach the guy who just takes a guy out of the game. Now, do I love interceptions? Of course. But I'd rather just be like, we've taken an entire player or side of the field out of
Made
the
him
game,
useless. Yeah.
and now we can go play 10 on 10 and just keep those guys out there. We'll go play 10 on 10, as opposed to the guy who I'm like, you know, I hope he gets the pick and he doesn't get beat this time. Or like
Yeah.
he gets the pick on this one, but like the next one, when they double move him, we give up a touchdown. Like, I hope it was worth it. So I'm
Mhm.
not as big a fan of giving Diggs 19 mil a year. He's a good player. He's extremely talented.
But it's a
Uh,
very Jerry Jones move, you know what I mean?
it's funny. I was in the coach's office today, and one of my coaches said that exact, like verbatim. That's a very Jerry Jones move, and it's so true. It's flash and
Yeah, that's for
And,
sure.
that's what he loves, and that's what their team generally is, and so it makes sense. I mean,
Mhm.
it's interesting because this happens in coordination with the fact that they cut Zeke.
Yep.
Tony Pollard never got his deal. He's gonna probably play on this
Yeah.
franchise tag. And then Zach Martin did not show up to camp today
Oh,
because he wants a new deal, and they won't extend him. So, it's
that's
very
tough.
interesting timing that they had one guy not show up to camp who's gonna hold out for now, and they gave this other guy an extension, and
Yeah.
so, we'll see if they can kinda make that happen and make all right for everyone in those situations, but, I mean, how do you feel about Diggs?
I mean, I agree with you. I think he's a good ball player. I wouldn't wanna spend a lot of bread on him, or I don't even know how many years I'd want him really. I mean, you've always talked about feast or famine, and he is that to a T, you know? And I mean, yeah, it looks good. Like, what, 2 years ago, he led the league in interceptions?
Mhm.
And what happened last year? It's that same concept. Like, you got a lot to give, but then when they take, it gets bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's just it's not for me. That style of gameplay is not for me. I'll say that.
That's
Easiest way to
and
put it.
and I gotta say, I mean, with a player like that, if you coach a player like that, the thing is like you gotta let him be him,
Yeah.
because like if he plays free, that's where that guy he's gonna make more plays than he gives up, and
Yeah.
so in the end, you're gonna get a plus result. I just would my preference if I'm getting the ability to choose, I'm taking the guy who I just know is shut down, and that's the
Yeah.
guy who I would
Yeah.
pay. But good for him. I mean, it's big time money, and he
Yeah.
did like
That's for
you
sure.
said, he led the league in picks 2 years ago. So it's not like they're paying a scrub. We don't want to make it sound like that. So
Yeah.
another shocking development today: Jimmy Graham back with the Saints. Now I don't know about you, but I was sitting there thinking, man, Jimmy Graham's been out of the league for so long. I looked.
Wasn't he on the Seahawks or something?
He
Not what?
played for the Bears in 2021. I mean, he's not been that long. He was only out of football last year. So he took a whole year off. He's back, and he's gonna be playing for the Saints again. I mean, he was a
Yeah.
longtime Saint, was traded to the
Yep.
Seahawks, then had a couple short stints with the Packers and the Bears, out of
Yeah, I do
football
remember
last
that.
year, and he's back with the Saints. I mean, we'll see if he gives them anything. He's gonna be 36 years old,
Yeah.
but,
I mean,
fun story
what is it?
that I mean, Jimmy being back with the
Oh, I thought
Saints,
you
like
had a story to
Jimmy
tell us. I
Graham,
was like,
like,
"Oh,
I just
what
fun s
happened with him?"
I just thought it was a fun story. I mean, I just like, it's kinda wild.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't expect
good
it.
headline. I got you. Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's still the way I see it, he adds somewhat of a threat just based off the name, right? But he could have a little bit of juice in him. I mean, they got Taysom Hill over there on one side. You throw him on the other, who knows? You could run a little something, figure him up.
I would say right now he's like a red zone threat at best. Like put him red zone fade ball maybe. I mean that's I don't know.
Who
Maybe
knows?
man.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Maybe
Time
he's
will
giving
tell.
you maybe he's giving you more than that, but
Maybe
we'll
like
find.
third down. Let's give him a third down. Gets in
Okay.
there, gets a first, goes off the field.
We got more news to hit. CJ Gardner Johnson appears to be okay. He had a non-contact knee injury a few days ago, but all reports out of camp today. He avoided anything serious. It just seems to be a scare. They're actually talking about Dan Campbell said he might be in practice again by the end of this week. Maybe just a day or two he's out and ready to go again. So great news from Detroit. That's a huge piece for their defense, I think,
Mhm.
going into 2023. So, you're always scared when there's that non-contact knee injury. And so it's great that he's actually going to be okay. All the tests were negative, no torn ACLs or
Yeah, that's
MCLs or
clutch.
anything like that. So that's big time. And then last but not least, some bummer news out of Chiefs camp. Kadarius Toney getting, he had to have knee surgery. Not sure if this is a season ender for him. We'll see.
Mm,
What can happen. I mean, what do the Chiefs? We talked about their receiving core being thin, Joe.
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
you brought the guy in last year, right? towards the end of the year, and then you're juiced. You got a dude out of like he's a younger guy, I should say. I don't know how truly young he is, but get a younger dude from New York, and then you go into the next year, and this happens to start off. It's not looking too good. Like I don't know how much they paid the guy to bring him in, but you think you have something. Maybe he started to build a little bit with Patty Mahomes, and then you get this going on, and it's like, man.
Yeah. There is the most up-to-date news is that there's a chance he could play in the first game because his surgery was just to repair a torn meniscus. So that's generally like 6 to 8 weeks.
Classic.
So, I mean, chance for the first game, the likelihood he probably misses like the first 2 games, I would think.
Say
Maybe
like
plays
2 or 3.
game 3, game 4 is the
Yeah.
reality. But just the fact, I mean, it's hard to miss that much time and then get back up to speed. So that could throw them off for a little while offensively. That could be, I mean, you're talking about missing like full speed, like feeling himself, Kadarius Toney, for maybe the first third of the season, first 6 games or so. So that is a blow to that Chiefs offense, I think. I think he was going to be a valuable weapon for him. And, maybe he will be by the end of the year, but to start the year, I think they're going to have to do it without him.
True. One thing before we switch gears here. Did you see, I don't know if we talked about it last episode, but did you see the jersey slowly coming out?
A lot of alternates. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
I know we
my
got
favorite
the
one so far. I think the Titans throwback is very classy looking.
Yeah.
To the Oilers.
Yeah. I have a question. It's been circulating a lot. Do you feel that they should have the rights to those uniforms, or should they give those to the Texans since it was originally Houston?
No, it's the Oilers moved to Tennessee. The Houston Texans are a completely different franchise. That's no. Mm-mm.
But they were in Houston when they weren't.
Yeah, but the Texans are a completely different franchise. That's like saying, dude, that's the people who created the Houston Oilers own the team. The tennis, they moved them to the Tennessee. I mean, it's the same people. So, to me, that's part of the Tennessee Titans heritage.
Okay.
It's not part of the Texans heritage. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
No.
Let's see. We had the Jets, though. I know I think we might have talked about the Seahawks a little bit last time. We seen that one.
I do like the Seahawks throwbacks.
Those
are nice. Not a huge fan of the Colts, like
the
black
blue,
on
the
blue.
dark blue with the black. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are a little different compared to everything else we've been seeing.
Not like the biggest fan of the Lions, like throwback helmet thing that they're trying to do.
You don't like those?
Not the biggest
fan. The retro
fan.
lion?
Yeah, not the biggest fan. I see what they were going. They were kind of trying to go for like the Ford, like Mustang sort of look, but
I know the Eagles are planning to do the like light
the
green,
Kelly green,
the Cunninghams.
The Kelly green. Those are pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. The Buccaneers going creamsicle, pretty sweet.
Classic.
I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, normally when they do all these different throwback alternate things, a lot of them are terrible. But this year, it seems like more of them have been good than have been like not as good. It feels like the NFL has been finally figuring this out a little bit, and they're doing a better job with this. So, I think I also saw the Broncos are doing like an icy white helmet.
Oh, really? Oh, didn't the Browns do that?
I think the Browns are doing that. Yeah, I did not like the Browns one as much, to be honest.
I didn't see it. I've only heard about it.
I saw it's like the D with the Bronco logo on the side with a white helmet. So
I gotta look that up after this. That sounds clean.
It looked pretty clean.
I know the Bengals when they did that last year. That was fresh.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
The ice white is usually a good look.
Yeah.
So we got to get to the Madden ratings now. The part that everyone has been waiting for. And I'm just going to say right off the jump before you get into some other things.
Yeah.
I just want to let everyone know. Matthew Stafford being rated like the 25th best quarterback in Madden is just like criminal. Like these people, clearly do these things for clicks and for people like us to talk about it. Like, there's no other reason. It's asinine. Doesn't make any sense. They made him like a 75 overall. I just think like the guy literally,
That's insane.
this guy was literally just throwing no look passes in the Super Bowl less than it's like a year and a half ago, and we're just acting like it didn't happen, as if like
Yeah.
somehow he's not the same guy. And I just don't understand it. Like, I know, yes, he was hurt last year. Everything we've heard is that he's healthy now. If he's
True.
healthy, why are we not assuming he returns to form? I don't really get that. But
Mhm.
apparently everyone is just assuming he's now just a broken down version of himself. And I'm like, I think it's
How old is
criminal.
he? I guess that's probably a factor,
He's
but
like 34. It's not
oh,
like
yeah, that's
he's
not bad at
40.
all.
So anyway, I just need to say my piece on that. Madden,
Yeah.
if you were doing this to get people to talk about it, congratulations, you win. It's stupid.
All right, I had a question for you. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 5 people in the 99 club. Do you think you can name one or more?
Aaron Donald.
Okay. Oh, did you look?
No.
Starting off high. All right. 1 for 1 though.
Aaron Donald. Patrick Mahomes.
Uh-huh.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Micah Parsons.
No. It's
Okay.
a tight end and a guard.
Okay, well then Travis Kelce.
Yep. You mentioned him today.
Zach Martin.
Yeah.
They got Zach Martin as a 99.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna go with Quentin Nelson if I was gonna guess the best guard in the league, but I guess okay, Zach Martin.
Yeah.
All right, well, the first three are like, I mean, Mahomes, Jefferson, and Donald are like easy. Like, okay, those are the three generally perceived as the three best guys in the
Yeah.
league, the best guys at their position. From there, it was a little harder. I was trying to think of like who sells jerseys and like, I mean, so that's kind of why I
Yeah.
went Parsons,
Big names. Yeah.
but Zach Martin and Travis Kelce, yeah, I guess those guys are 99ers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, okay.
Who do you think got left out of everyone in the league? If you think anyone else should be in there.
Oh, like who was snubbed?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, I mean, I could make an argument for Parsons. I mean, considering how versatile he is and all the different things he can do,
He's a 97.
uh, which makes sense. I mean, he's got at least he's close.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, I think it should be hard to be a 99. So
True. No, I agree.
the only other guy I could make a case for, he's a little older and he's injured too much, and that might be why he's not. But Trent Williams is an absolute freak of a left tackle, and
Trent Williams.
I could make the case that that guy should be a 99er.
98.
Yeah. So those are the two. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody right now, but those are the two that stick out in my mind.
Yeah. So, couple I'll go off the 98 and then I'll get into specific like rating things, like acceleration, speed, strength, and all that, and people who have 99 in those. But 98, we got Lane Johnson, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, your guy Trent Williams, Tyreek, and that's it on the 98s.
Okay. Bosa, I mean Tyreek, yeah, okay.
And so with speed and acceleration, there's one guy on 99 for both.
One guy on 99 speed and acceleration.
Yeah.
That's got to be Cheetah.
Yep.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. That's the only dude that can do both of those things as well as he can. Yeah.
Then we got strength. There's one dude.
Who's 99?
Yeah.
Tell me a position.
He's in the club.
Well, then it's Donald.
Yep.
Okay. Probably would
And
have
then
been the guy I guessed, but
awareness, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 dudes. And most are
99,
linemen.
99 awareness.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even know if I
You
can
could
name
get
one.
you could guess probably 3 of these dudes. They've already been mentioned. 4, maybe 5.
All 599 guys? Or 99
No, no.
awareness? Okay.
Donald, Jefferson, and Kelsey for sure. We
Okay.
got Cameron Hayward, our guy King Henry, Fred
Okay.
Warner.
All
Let's
right.
see,
Fred
Jason
Warner's that's a good
Kelsey,
one. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Jason Kelsey's a good one.
Lane Johnson,
Got
Nick
it.
Bosa,
Mm-hmm.
Trent Williams, and Zach Martin. A lot of tackles.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I
Outside
don't
of
know how
that,
they're rating awareness of a
yeah,
tackle, like what
I
that
don't know
actually
either. I
means,
was
to be
trying to
honest
figure
with
that
you.
out.
I'm like really thinking like, how are we defining awareness? Like, is that just like, are we talking about like
How
awareness of the
quick they move
ball?
laterally, I think. I have no clue.
I actually
Because,
don't know what that rating is, to be honest with you. I'd like for a football Madden person to explain it to me.
yeah, I agree. Because you got a bunch of linemen, then you got King Henry, you got a backer, and a tight end and receiver.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. I like it because awareness at receiver is like, okay, is the ball coming and like, can I make this catch? Like that's what I would
Yeah,
think is like awareness of the ball with the DB and all that stuff, like space.
yeah.
Being able to like get your feet down and like, oh, make this cut right here, like
Or like even like
versus
trying
that.
to like pick a hole in the thing to sit in, you know?
Yeah, it's the hole in the soft spot in the zone,
Yeah,
like all of those
yeah.
things apply to playing receiver. Playing O line, none of those things apply. So like it's like a whole different metric for them. I
Yeah,
guess that's maybe it's awareness based on the position they play, and so it's like different for every position. But I would
yeah.
be curious to know the
The
like
underlying
ideology
basis. Yeah.
of that. Yes, I'd love for a Madden person to explain that to me.
And then there's 2 more that had people with 99 ratings. We have toughness, one guy, Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, he played on
I
the
don't know how
ankle.
that. Yeah, that's
He
the
played
only
on
thing that made sense to me. But I was like,
he
how else
he
do you
played
define that?
he played on the ankle. I mean, yeah, he wasn't coming out. If you watch quarterback, he wasn't coming out.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, there's a couple guys that I think we could have made a case for 99 toughness. I mean, there's some dudes that
yeah.
they're pretty tough. I mean, but all right, Mahomes, yeah, sure.
And then the other one was release rating. One guy, Devonte
Release?
Adams.
Yeah, I mean that's yes. He's the release king for sure.
Let's see. I'm gonna give you. Okay, here's a couple more on the. Okay, a bunch of. I guess it's not a bunch. Toughness. Aaron Rodgers, 98. Aaron Donald, 98. Whoa. This is a guy out of left field. Baker Mayfield, 98. I guess that makes
No,
sense.
no, that's
But
fair.
yeah.
Baker always plays through injury. That does not surprise me.
Let's see. George Kittle,
Yeah. Okay.
98.
He's hurt
Caleb
all the time, but that's not really.
McGarry, 98. Russell Wilson,
Yep.
Brian Jensen, and Trent Williams, all 98s.
All right. I'd take all
Jensen,
those
that's
guys.
a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's about everything that was the top of there. I will say I took a look at our teams. We got the Rams and the Broncos, like the whole divisions.
Mm-hmm.
The teams with the highest on the NFC West was
I can tell you, it's not the
ranked.
Rams. If they're making
No.
Stafford a 74 overall or whatever, I know they're not high on the Rams. I can
No,
tell you
no,
that
no.
right now.
No, it was the Niners. It was overran by Niners and Seahawks the first like couple pages. And then for the AFC West, it was a lot of Chargers and then sprinkle in like the good Kansas City people
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of Broncos too, minimal, but they were there.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, Madden, the game is designed for people to buy it, and they
Yeah.
get people talking about it. So these ratings are, I personally believe, chalked up so that and rigged a little so that people will talk about it. I mean, like I said, the Matthew Stafford rating to me is just disrespectful, but he's a Super Bowl champ. They can't take that away from him. So,
That is a fact.
um, Other than that, I mean, actually, most of the ratings we just talked about weren't completely crazy, but yeah, I think that one's crazy.
Yo, who
So,
were your top 5 on your QB? Patty, Joey B.
we had Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen,
Uh-huh.
Jalen Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay. So the top 5, you had Rodgers in, and they had Lamar in just quarterbacks.
And Lamar was my next guy. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But their next guy was Dak, Herbert, and then Rodgers.
Dak over Herbert and Rodgers. I don't know how you could watch football and think that, to be honest with you. I think Dak is good, but like, come on, man. No
Tricky
way.
Cuz follows them rounding out with Tua on this first page.
See, they like Tua like I do.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Dak is, man, why he throws so many picks. I can't imagine why they
Hey,
would put him
he's
so.
keeping it under 10.
Well, I guess we'll find out this year.
Yeah,
I
that's for
mean,
sure.
like I said, the Madden ratings, they are what they are.
I personally don't even play the game anymore. I haven't picked one up since like Brett Favre was on the cover. And that
I'm gonna
was
be
like
honest.
2012.
I was gonna say the last one I bought was Gronk, so I think it was 2017. I think it was the
I think
year.
that's like 15, bro.
It might be. I mean, it's been a
Johnny
while.
had that one. We would play all the time for fun. Every time I pulled up to the crib.
So, we got short episode today, for good reason. And actually, I guess I should probably put this out. And I don't think I've announced this on the pod yet, but I took a new job.
Yeah.
So we talked about me moving and everything. I don't know that we ever specified or
The
talked in
reason
detail.
why, yeah.
So I did take a job. I moved. I'm in Texas now. I took a job as the defensive coordinator at Morton High School. The people here actually would love Horns Down because we're pretty close to Lubbock, Texas Tech. So Horns Down is definitely a thing around here. So took this new job and really excited about it, doing great things, but
Oh
also
yeah.
means that I am currently working extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
So podcast may be a little short for a little bit because I'm in my own training camp, but we'll still talk NFL training camps. We'll still be getting on here once a week. But it does make our time a little bit more limited and me a little more exhausted right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Getting ourselves ready for training camp. 2-a-days start next week,
Ooh.
next Monday.
I haven't had
Right
to do
now,
one of those in a minute, thank God.
yeah, yeah. Right now, it's a lot of getting prepared for that, doing workouts, doing camps for the younger kids, and getting
Oh,
ourselves
that's
all ready
fun.
to go for that. So it is fun, but the days are like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. right now.
Yeah,
So
long days for sure.
yeah, we're exhausted right now, but love coming on here and doing this. So we'll keep it rolling as much as we can. And so we had short episode today, fun stuff, keeping up with the league and seeing what's going on. We'll have some more stuff next week. We'll have everyone back in training camp by this time next week. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll have more, contract news, injury news, things happening in camp, coaches podiums and things like that. So we'll
Yeah.
have more to talk next week. Maybe talking a little fantasy football, maybe some guys that
Ooh,
we're
some
thinking,
sleepers and stuff.
some sleepers, some stuff
High
like that.
draft
So
picks.
we'll come back next week with some of that. But to finish out this week's episode, we got the banger of the week.
Yes, sir. What you got?
And it is yours truly's turn. In my limited time over the past week or so, I did manage to get in a really good documentary that I recommend to all of our listeners.
Ooh, what
It
is
is
it?
on Max,
Okay. No
and it is
surprise to
called
me.
Shaun White: The Last Ride.
I
Now,
have been wanting to watch that. I have heard someone else watch it and they said it was really good. And I know you kind of briefly mentioned to us in the group chat. But yeah, I'll let you elaborate, my bad.
Shaun White. One, I'd kind of forgotten a little bit about like how dominant he was in the mid
Yeah.
2000s in the sport of snowboarding,
Mm-hmm.
while also being a good skateboarder too as a professional.
Yeah,
Um,
that was always wild to see.
And so this documentary is 4-part documentary, about an hour each part. But the thing,
Okay.
it was not the dominance that I came away being blown away about, because I did know about that. It was a good reminder. Don't get me wrong. I was
Yeah.
like, man, he really like didn't lose like ever in his prime. He just like did not lose snowboarding competitions. Like didn't matter if it's X Games, Olympics, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But what really impressed me, the like we talk about football players all the time taking a beating and the
Yeah.
day-to-day grind and what that looks like and managing injuries and playing through pain and all that stuff. There's like a different psychological element to
Mhm.
snowboarding that we don't get to see in terms of their training. The amount of times he took near career ending, near fatal, near, I mean, just awful crashes during
Yeah.
practice
Yeah.
in the lead up to getting prepared to do things like the Olympics. The amount of times he took those crashes and could have easily just been like, I've won a gold medal already, or I've won 2 gold medals already. I've won all these X Games events. Like, I could just
Yeah.
call it a career right now, and, like, no one would ever look at me any different. Like, I've already made this legacy, especially after he
Yeah.
won that first gold medal. Like, he could have at any point said, like, this isn't, I'm good." And this dude had all these terrible falls and all these terrible accidents, and, like,
That's the
we're
crazy
talking
part about those sports, bro.
like there's one before the 2018 Olympics where he split his face, like landed on the lip and split his face right down the middle below his nose all the way down, and had to have like
Jeez. A
60 something
million stitches?
stitches.
Oh,
And the surgery was crazy, and they showed video of like what his lip looked. It was like completely open. I mean, I was
that's
like,
wild.
and the dude, like, I don't know how he psychologically was able to just turn that key back and just be like, going right back up on the slopes, bro, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
win too. I gained so much respect for like his mental process and mental fortitude, and the way that he was able to essentially gear himself up to say, like, I may nearly die today, and I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna go land this trick or whatever this thing it is that I'm
Yeah.
doing. I just think, like, and the height that they get in that half pipe,
Yeah.
dude, it's
Crazy.
insane. Like the whole thing, the psychological element to snowboarding, I don't know that I ever appreciated as much as I did after I watched that. So, and I a lot of respect for what he did in his career, even more so than I've ever had before. So, um, like I said, we talk about football players, and that's my point of comparison because this is a football
Mhm.
podcast. But
Yeah.
that that's a different animal altogether. It's a different beast. If you
Yeah.
do it right,
Same
you're
animal,
pretty
different
much,
beast.
yeah, dude. Because here's the thing: you land the run and everything goes smooth. You're fine. You're really
Yeah.
not taking any kind of beating. But all it takes is one misstep.
Yeah. You
And all of a
hit the
sudden,
thing with your board wrong and
so whereas football, it doesn't feels like it doesn't matter what you do. You're gonna pick up little injuries, little
yeah.
nagging things. It's just gonna happen. You got to manage it. So it's just two different levels. But man, very impressive. Shaun White, great career, and props to him because I was
Mhm.
I was like, wow. So highly recommend. I know you were talking about you might want to watch. I would
Yeah.
tell you for sure go watch that thing because it's impressive. It's a good one.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. I hope y'all have good night, day, whenever you guys are tuning into this. It's good. Probably the weekend, if you pick it up on Saturdays. But till then, we got our guy Ray Ray taking us out.